speaker, whatever, for y'all again tonight, you know? And personally, I ain't gonna waste a whole lot of time because I want to get this brother, get this show on the road, man, you know? But the question is, the operative question is about our life. You know, how much do we care? How much do we care about our life? You know, this is a time right here. This is a time for reflection. We get to look back. We can get to look back on the last year. We can get to look back on the last week, the last month, or whatever. We get to look back on our life, you know? And what we have to understand is we got to separate what we do from what we say we do. You know? You tell me one thing, and then your behavior tells me something totally different. You know? Now, the problem is, I ain't gonna say the problem, the idea is that don't matter to me. That don't matter to me. The question is, does it matter to you? I mean, you lying to me, it doesn't matter to me. But does it matter to you? You know, how much you really care? Man, I read a piece today. And it talked about life in general. Life in general. And this is what it said, man. Haven't nobody figured out everything there is to figure out about life. Nobody has about this life that we got. What we do understand is you got a choice. You can make life ugly or you can make life good. That's your choice. That's your choice, man. I mean, while you in here, once you get out of here, you can make life ugly. And I've seen some people that chose to do that, man. Make life ugly. And then wonder why they can't get a break. You know? That's the operative question. Man, I can't get a break. I can't get a break, you know? Start doing a whole lot of ugly shit. You know? Why would you? The other side is, man, we can make life good. You know? And when I reflect on me. You know, the brother was talking about the jail and all that bullshit like that. I've been in jail 7 times, did a bit, was trying to live ugly. Some people can use another adjective for it, but was trying to live like that. I had more dedication to the street than I had at home. I've seen individuals disrespect family, mother, children, daughter, because they dedicated to the street. Street don't owe you nothing. Street does not owe you anything. When you come here, you can't even pay a dude to come visit you. You can't pay him to come visit you. Street don't owe you a thing. It don't owe you nothing. Same thing, but street don't owe you nothing. You know? Man, that's the ugly side. That's the ugly side. That ain't for everybody. You know what I'm saying? That's how this word come up. Haters, haters, haters. You started doing the right thing, somebody gonna start hating on you. That's where it comes from. Think about it. You know? Oh, I see y'all laughing at my shoes. look at hey, look. Okay, before I introduce our speaker, you know, before I introduce our speaker, my wife told me, she's a Marshall. That can be your story for the night. Yeah. Okay, we done had a lot of rain and cold and all that. I go in the closet and pull my boots out, right? Been wearing the boots in the rain and the cold and all that. Today, you know, this was, I'm making arrangements for here. I'm gonna leave. I got to go to the funeral home, see somebody. I'm gonna leave the funeral home, and then I'm headed down here. Anyway, as I get out the car at the funeral home, I get out, bam. the sole of the shoe comes off. and, then, and then I looked at the other one, it had a little crack in it. So all that rain that I was walking in, obviously, I got the glue wet. So I'm thinking, you know, I was like, man, look here, what can I do? I was like, man, stop at Walmart, get a pair of bullshit shoes or whatever. Walmart is a lifeline. Stop at Walmart. It won't no Walmart in sight. You know what I'm saying? I had to stop somewhere else. It was nowhere in sight coming down here. So I said, stop at the service station and get a rubber band. Get some rubber bands and put on it. Anyway, as I was continuing to walk, I couldn't even drive with this sole coming. I just pulled it off. What I thought about is, Steve and them got tape that they taped the wires down. I said, I can get here and put some tape on it. And I was hoping, I said, I hope this week Steve and them don't have blue tape. You know what I'm saying? If they got the blue tape, it's going to look obvious. So what I do is I get Henry to fix the shoes for me, and Henry puts so much damn tape on it, it's obvious anyway. You know what I'm saying? Point being, the shoes won't gonna stop me from showing up tonight. Oh, my wife, she says, look, you can use this to talk about how things don't always go the way you want them to go. Because I thought about, can I go home and get another pair of shoes? I was like, no, I ain't got time for that. Our speaker, no, man, I was in the parking lot at 5 minutes to 5. I like to be early. I like to be on time, you know? And so, about us like, he got the black tape on, you know what I'm saying? And I got crazy because I got a pair of black boots just like these brown ones. I could have wore the black ones, and they could have put the black tape on it. Y'all would have never known it. But I ain't mind sharing it. But anyway, man, our speaker tonight, man, this brother, has celebrated a couple of milestones in his life. And man, I celebrated with him, you know. I'm gonna let him tell you. Dawood.
Attic. Can you hear me now? I would like to take a moment, man, to really remember the sick and suffering addict and a child born tonight or today addicted to drugs by no choice of their own. I always see the chair when I go to speak because my best friend died of addiction, and I carry on his legacy. What I mean by that is my best friend started a recovery house to house recovering addicts or people who want to get straight. I helped him move the furniture in, helped him start the house, put everything in. 2 weeks later, my friend dies. His family don't know what to do. I said, don't worry about it. I'll take care of it. And I ran the house, and I've been running the house. But that ain't my story yet. My story begins in 1972 on Rikers Island, C-74, third upper, for those who know the island. That's my start. That's my story. That's where I first put a spike in my arm. On the island, not free, in jail, I got high. That's where I learned how to get high, on the island. Because guards and everybody was walking through the gate with work, tools, drugs, money, everything. So that's where I started at. From 1972 all the way to 1990, I did 4 runs on the island. I couldn't do nothing else. I didn't know how to do nothing else. My mother used to say, boy, across your forehead, you got the words, can't get right. Because I couldn't get right. I couldn't get right for the woman who loved me the most. Imagine that. You can't get right for nobody who loves you. In addiction, I learned that we can't get right for somebody else. We can't. Right? So last week, I celebrated 30 years clean. I ain't had no reason to use. I ain't had no reason to do none of that. I ain't had no reason to joke about my recovery. See, when I came home, I thought that I go somewhere don't nobody know me, so I come to Richmond. Because while in penitentiary, guess who were the coolest fellas? Everybody from Richmond. That's who I hung out with. That's who I did my bit with. That's who I was in a cell with for 10 years. Dudes from Richmond. So I decided to come to Richmond. What I found out is it didn't matter if I went to Richmond, Norfolk, where I really did my crimes at, go back to New York, it wouldn't matter. You know why? I still had me to deal with. I still have me to deal with. So today I just want to take a minute, man, and talk to you about recovery. Recovery. I ain't gonna give you the hope yet. My sponsor said give them the experience first. Don't give them the hope yet. Give them the experience. My experience has everything to do with not being able to love myself. Bottom line. Bottom line. I can tell any girl on the street, I can tell any one of my sisters, I love you. I can flow it off my mouth just as easy as I can take in air. But I never told me I love me. It wasn't until 2000 that someone gave me a task in prison. Dude named Buddha, shout out Buddha. He gave me a task. The task was for 30 days, do nothing, but every day when you wake up in the morning and before you go to sleep at night, look in your mirror and say, I love you. Do that for 30 days. That's it. And he says, put down all them Donald Goins, put all them pimp books down, put all that masquerading down, and do nothing but study yourself. Because you can't find that book, can you, in the library, law library, nowhere. You find you in the cell you in. And you know why we don't like to look at ourselves? This is what I discovered about me. You know why I like looking at myself? Because I like the image I was portraying versus the person I was. You know that masquerade. Y'all done heard it before. Y'all done seen it before. Y'all ever heard of the term mask off? I take it one further. The mask ain't on here. The mask is here. The mask is here. So now, this is what I tell you. Get free before you get free. Because if you get free here, ain't nothing out there can bother you. Ain't nothing out there can stop you. You become unstoppable. Bob Marley said this. He said, if you defeat the demons inside yourself, no demon outside yourself can defeat you. You have to defeat it. That means you got to take a minute and say, you know what, I'm tired of my own bullshit. You got to take a minute, just a minute, and say, I'm tired, man. How many of y'all tired? Who in here tired? I mean, like, tired. All right? Because if you ain't tired, they'll keep the lights on. They'll always have a bunk for you. Ain't that a true statement? They'll always have a bunk statement. You know what I said when I got out in 2013? I want to shut this shit down. I want nobody to come back up in this joint. Nobody. So guess what I did? I created a course in prison in a 9x7 on Powhatan called Forensic Peer Support. I wrote it in that cell in that 9x7, brought it out here. Now I give it to everybody, whoever wants it. It ain't a job, it's a career step. Because now I can show you how your record now becomes part of your resume. You ain't got to be afraid of your past no more. You know everything we always say? Oh, because I got a criminal record, I can't get a job. Because I'm black, I can't get a job. Because I got tattoos on my body, I can't get a job. That's a lie you tell yourself. Keep on telling yourself that. You'll keep on getting what you been getting. That's a lie. Because now in the country, not just in Virginia, in the country, they need to hear your message, your mess. They need to hear it. Because all the other programs done failed. All the other programs have failed, and they see it. And they've been waiting for us to create a program for them that'll win. They've been waiting for it. They've been waiting for it. I'm talking about they've been waiting for it so long that they put $62 trillion into it. Hold up. I ain't said a million. I ain't said a billion. I said $1 trillion. Because this opioid epidemic they're calling that we're in, they fueling it with money. Fueling it with money. But we still want to sit down and go ahead and hustle. Listen. I try to tell you, we've been in the wrong game too long. You know what game that is? Killing ourselves so we can feed our families. All the hustlers in here, I can show you a job that you can get right now if you're a real hustler. I'm just talking to the real hustlers. That's all I'm talking about, just the real hustlers. Women too, real hustlers, right? Whoever's a real hustler, I can show you a job that by the end of the month, all you have to do is 5 things and you can make 20 G's. Legal. It's yours. It's yours, right? I dared a brother to prove me wrong 5 years ago. I said, okay, you one of the biggest dope boys ever was, right? What you know how to do? He said, I know how to sell. I said, you know that's a transferable skill, right? If you can sell that, in the great words of the poet Jay, if you can sell that, you can sell this. So I said, okay, there's a car lot down the street. For every car you sell, you get 5 G's. In his first month, he sold 8 cars. In his next month, he sold 20. In the month after that, he became the #1 salesman in Richmond on cars. Wait a minute, I forgot to tell you. He left prison, he had 2 bodies, armed robbery, distribution, and running a criminal enterprise. Yeah, that. That's what he came home with. Walked on the lot, told him I could sell every car on this lot, and they dared him. Who the hustlers are. And oh yeah, he was 55. That was 5 years ago. He was 55, so that age stuff, even that don't even matter. Don't matter how old you are. It don't matter. Matter of fact, it don't even matter what you look like no more. You got to bring the value to the table. I stopped asking people what they bring to the table. Because I've been told that my table sits in the company of my enemies. And my cup runneth over. So if you bring the table, well, you part of the enemies. I want you to sit at the table with me in the presence of my enemies. I don't want you to be the table in the presence of my enemies. Why would I want that? So next time someone asks you what you bring to the table, tell them you bring peace to the table. You bring value to the table. You bring dignity to the table, right? And oh yeah, you know who you are and whose you are. Those two things. So the only thing, the only thing, the only thing, the only thing, the only thing you need to study, all of us. Like I said, man, I don't wore blue, I don't wore brown. I know it. I know it. I know what it feel like. I know what it smell like. You know what I got tired of? You know what my tie got tired of? Being in the shower with other niggas. Sick of that. Got sick of that. That's when I got to my bottom. When I got sick of looking at that and got to experience that every day. And if you ain't sick of it, then we sick. Then we sick. That's what hit my bottom. And I said, never again. But when you get clear from all the drugs, from all the manipulation, for all the con, for all the lying, when you get clear, man, you find out who you really are. It might scare some people. It might scare you to find out who you really are. So check it. If I gave you a good job, a place to live, a car, a good girl, right? You know the only problem? You. Because if you got that and you ain't dealt with you and ain't did no work on you, guess what happens? Guess what happens? You're going to lose it all, right? Right? Because we ain't done no work on self. I don't study nothing else but myself daily. I study self. That's my knowledge. I study self. And I pay attention to the rich and famous. I ain't talking about the rich and famous on reality TV. I ain't talking about them. I'm talking about the real rich and famous because I stopped going into rooms where I thought I was the smartest person. I don't have that circle no more. I don't want to be the smartest person. Listen, I just told you I just celebrated 30 years. 10 years home, man. December 13th. December 13th made 10 years for me to be home, right? When I came home, wouldn't nobody hire me. And I was a chef. That's what I know how to do. I know how to cook. But then I found out something else once I got clear. I write grants. I learned how to write grants, right? So then didn't nobody want to pay me for writing grants. Guess what you do next? Because I don't want to go left at any time. If it don't go my way, so what? So I wrote grants for every church in the city of Richmond. Every church that wanted a grant wrote, I wrote it. And didn't ask them for no money. What am I doing? I'm sowing. I'm sowing, right? That's all I'm doing. That's it. And guess what else I'm doing? Setting myself up. That's all I did, right? That's all I did my first 2 years home. That's all I did was write grants, help other people. It got the feeling so good, right? Because I was wondering, I didn't have a place to stay. I had no clean clothes, I had none of that, but all my needs were met. My history is I'm a stick-up kid. That's who I am. That's my vice. My vice is I don't go into the banks. I don't go into stores. If you a dope boy, you were my target because you had what I wanted. You had what I needed. Because without a pill of dope, I was scared to death of getting sick. I was more scared of getting sick than anything else. I hated getting sick. I hated it. So if you had a pack, and you know how y'all do, here, OG, here you go, Unc, your first one free. Okay, I'm going to test that, then I'm coming back with the pistol. That's what I'm doing. I don't know about everybody else. That's my story, right? That's my story. So when I got tired of robbing and stealing, taking from my sisters, taking from my family, guess what I decided to do? I decided to make a change, man. I grew up in a Muslim household. My father's from the Sudan. I'm his only American-born son. I'm the only man of 7 girls. And I said man because I've never been a male. A male is here. Man is here. A male is only identified by what's between his legs. Man is identified by how he thinks, how he acts, and how he portrays and helps other people. That's what men are identified. That's what men are identified as. Okay? That's the difference. Okay? So my sisters always gave me this thing about you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to do this, you got to do that. I was hard-headed. I was hard-headed. My mother said, my son can't do no wrong. I put that to the test all the time. But off the island. I served that time, then went back home. I did that 4 or 5 times, man, in a period of like 9, 10 years. That's all I did. So now here I am. I'm home. I'm in Richmond. I don't know nobody but the cool dudes I met while locked up. That's all I know, right? I said, okay, this is what I want to do. I need to find my niche, what I do good, what I'm passionate about, what I could do and not worry about getting paid for it in the least amount of effort. What's that thing? Sell. Guess what I decided? I'm also going to write. So I write curriculums for VCU and the University of Richmond right now. I write curriculums, whole curriculums. Because we want to go back to school and get educated, right? Do you know VCU would take you on right now, right where you at? Did you know University of Richmond, J. Sergeant Reynolds, all of them have programs for us to re-educate ourselves? You know why we scared? Because we trying to catch up when we leave instead of catch on. Let me say that again. We trying to catch up, not catch on. The money from hustling ain't no real money no more. Never has been. It just isn't. The risk now is greater than all of it. Who wants to be away from their family some more? Who wants to be away from your people some more? Who wants that? Who wants to be away from their children some more? Who wants to keep on doing that? Continuously. Who wants to do that? Continuously. Right? What's the saying? If you do a certain thing over and over again, looking for a different result, you practicing what? Why is it insane if we keep on doing it? Because you're expecting a different outcome, right? But you keep on getting the same outcome, so you keep on doing it. So the problem ain't the outcome. Who the problem? We the problem. We the problem. I'm the problem. In my case, I'm the problem. So here go the hope. My man Sean died. He started a recovery house. This is my hope, man. He started a recovery house. I ran it for a whole year for nothing. Right? A dude calls me one day and says, listen, Dawood, I like the way you running that house, man. I really do. I got 5 houses. Would you take them over? I said, I can't run 5 houses, man. He said, what you mean you can't run 5 houses? You got a car, don't you? I said, yeah. So you can do this, right? Because I was faithful with one thing, a little thing, with a little thing, right? So he gave me 5. So now I'm running all 5. Now we're going to North Carolina because recovery is bigger than Virginia. I need 2 dudes and 2 females to come with me to Seattle, Washington. They want recovery out there too, but they want it in peer support. They want our story to help other people with their story and how they overcame. That's all they want. Can you imagine? Listen, I went out to Seattle. They pay you $1,000 every time you go open up your mouth. They're going to give you a G for opening in your mouth. They're going to pay your room, your board, and they're going to give you a G to open up your mouth to tell your story. That's it. But we think the other way is the only way. Maya said it perfectly. We only do what we do because of what we know. When we know different, we do different, right? When we know different, we're supposed to do different, right? But what if you know different and you still do the same thing? You still do the same thing. That's why I say it wouldn't matter whatever someone else gave you if you ain't built it yourself. If you ain't built it yourself, it don't matter if someone else give it to you. That's the hope. The hope ain't in something that somebody give you, because we done been parasites too long to our family and our loved ones. You know, everybody in here know what a parasite is? Bloodsucker, right? Bloodsucker, taking the resources and the values of someone else. You ever go home and you sit down there wanting something to eat? She got some food stamps. You take her food stamps. Now the kids can't eat. Sucker. Sucker. You the sucker. Because you'll take from a kid being so selfish. Being so selfish, right? Being so selfish. So I run Deter, delegation established to end or encourage recovery. And I own Red Recovery. Now, this is my hope. My hope is that Red Recovery becomes the nationwide standard for what recovery is supposed to look like. So all I do is train. That's all I do is train. I train people how to sit down to how to personal development and professional development and ethics. Because we need to know how to act in a bad situation. We need to know how to think in a bad situation. Oh yeah, you know, the person who ain't never been to jail, the person who ain't never did no work on themselves, then they come at you with their mouth. We know how we are when people sound off on us, don't we? We know how we respond. We respond differently, don't we? When people sound off with their mouth. Well, what if they sound off on you, but that's your job now? Your job is to take whatever they say. If you ain't did no work, if we ain't done no work on ourselves, what they say gonna have more effect on us than the way we respond. Like I said, get free before you get free. Defeat the demon inside. No demon outside of you can do you no harm. Can do you no harm. Can't hurt you. And you know, fear is our biggest hindrance. We scared. We scared to change. I like the way I am. I like the hustle. I like to get out here and get it. All right, like I said, light's still on, bed will still be open. Why we want that kind of life? Well, we keep on doing this. Let me ask this basic fundamental question. Everybody ain't got to answer it. Nobody got to raise their hand on it. If you done did this more than one time, say ouch. It's difficult, man, to be in here right now in this time of the season. Because we want to be with our families. We want to be free, man. We want to be free. We don't want to be in here looking at each other. Man, we don't want to do that. We don't want to go to getting this child. We tired of that. Ain't we tired of that? Tired of this fool? Ain't we tired of that? Big time, ain't it? When I was on Powhatan, you know what I used to hate? Pill call. No, don't laugh. Please don't laugh. Please don't laugh. Please don't laugh. Because I was on 100 milligrams of Thorazine. I was on real medication. You know why? Because I didn't like being in penitentiary. I didn't like being in prison. I wanted to hurt somebody every day. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't stand it. And they didn't understand it, that I couldn't stand being there. But then someone said, well, I didn't bring you in here. I ain't put you in here. I had nothing to do with that. Light number one went off. I get it. It was totally on me. I did everything. So listen, since I've been home, when I first came home, I learned how to ride the bus in Richmond. Never, never thought that. I was learning how to ride the bus, right? So when I got on the bus this one day, man, like there was this woman in the back of the bus, and this little boy, he was about 2 years old. He might have been five, and he was screaming at the top of his lungs, right? Screaming. I didn't know then at that moment that he was autistic. I didn't know it. And then he looked at me, and this is what he did. He stopped screaming. He stopped screaming all of a sudden. His mom looked at him and then looked at me and said, "You don't know that man." Right? So I went back. He kept on bringing me to the back of the bus. So I went to the back of the bus, and he touched me on my shoulders and hugged me. And he said, "Hi." At 5, right? Right today, she my bestie. She my best friend. What I mean by best friend, she my day one, because that was my first day out. She my day one. She my best friend, good, bad, or indifferent. She the only female on the planet that I would kill for, take a bullet for. Feel me? Feel me? So give her your undivided attention, please. Come on here, Lila.
I'm free, y'all. Y'all know if I'm standing here before you today, we have some things in common. I am a 5-time convicted felon. I've been in prison quite a few times. Actually, I've been locked up quite a few times, but I've only been in prison once. And when I went to prison, I went to Atlanta, and it changed my life forever. Right now, I'm feeling a little torn because the woman in me wants to talk to my sisters, but the daughter in me want to talk to y'all. Because I didn't know that this was going to be mixed. I thought we were only going to be talking to the women. So as I saw the men start to roll in, I started to get nervous and tears swelling my eyes because I'm the reason that most of you probably run away in fear. How many of you have daughters at home? They need you. My dad decided that he wanted to leave my mom for a side chick. And that's where my trauma began. That's how I wound up getting abused by my mother's husband, day after day after day. And the only thing I would pray at night was, if my dad was only here. Where's my daddy? So I grew up with daddy issues. And I always thought that I was going to get me the biggest, tallest, darkest, strongest man that would protect me. But if you don't know, this is what typically happens. If you abandon your children, whatever male that's around them, that's the person your daughters are going to be attracted to. So I wound up being attracted to abusive men, although I swore to God I would never get one. And on my 18th birthday, my boyfriend told me, "You too much of a goody-goody. I need you to try something different." So he took a straight A student, and he gave me my first pill of dope. And from there, the choices were mine. I made all those decisions on my own, and I decided to start getting high. And back then, it was back when Hillside was jumping. So it was easy to run in and out of Hillside Court. It was easy to run in and out of Walmsley. So I started going to jail in 2000, and Richmond City Jail was sort of like a camp back then. You go up the steps, you see the J tier, you go into the child hall, you can see your little boyfriend, you can wave at him, and you can do all of that. And one day they called for us to come down to the multi-purpose room. And this lady was sitting in there, and she kept talking about her man. Now, I'm a little flirtatious, and all I kept trying to do was pick up on his name. Because as soon as you drop his name, I'm going to go find him. You want to tell me who he is, I'm going to go take your man. Bottom line. That woman stood up there, and she said her man was Jesus, who wanted to get saved. Everybody ran up to the front and got saved that day. But that didn't stop me. I still decided I wanted to get high. I liked shooting dope. I did. 2005, Judge Taylor decided that I needed to lay down. And he sentenced me to 2 years. But at that time, probation violation. We went to court on Fridays. So he kept saying, Miss Freeman, we're going to give you 6 months for this, we're going to give you 6 months for that, and we're going to give you 6 months for bringing back a new charge. And mind you, my new charge was only one dirty urine. Now, the funny thing was, in the bullpen, there was 15 other people. All those people got the diversion center, they got boot camp, they got reinstated, they got all of that. But for some reason, Judge Taylor said, Miss Freeman, we're going to save your life today. And that man sent me to prison for 2 years. And in Fluvanna is where I learned how to be a mother, where I learned how to be a friend, where I learned how to be a daughter, where I learned how to be a better person. You guys have the opportunity of a lifetime to help each other and change each other's lives. 2007, I was released, and they released me without being on no papers. So I was left to my own vices. And the crazy thing about being free is you get to make your own decisions. And now it's all on you, what you're going to do. And for anybody that is aggressive or hostile or you're used to these, I'm short. As you can see, I'm a little person. So I'm used to fighting. I always had to fight. And changing was almost like taking a rusty razor blade and cutting my face off. That's how hard change was. Because I couldn't deal with it. I didn't know how to make a good decision without reverting back to my old ways. But I missed the part. How many of you are in a relationship right now while you're locked up? Let me give you a little tidbit of knowledge. When I was incarcerated, I made the mistake of having fake obligation to an individual because they put money on my books, because they answered the telephone. And I want you to think about that. We will sit there and be loyal to a person and considering a person holding us down because they answered a telephone. Because they put 20 or 30, oh, they even put $100 on your books. You consider that person loyal to you. And then you wind up, and especially for you men, you wind up going home on probation to a female that got your life in her hands. Because as soon as she get mad at you, as soon as you come home late, as soon as you don't give her what she wants, guess who she calling? If you know like I know, you better get you some therapy while you in here and go to a transition house and stand on your own 10 toes and do it that way before you go home and let a woman tell you that she about to send you back to jail because you get in a car with somebody else. Y'all have it a little bit harder than we do. They'll tell us we can come stay on their sofa. We can call grandma. We can call auntie. We can go to the transition house. We can go to the homeless shelter. We can stand there. We can drop a few crocodile tears, and they will let us in. It's not that easy for y'all. It's really not. So my suggestion is while you are here, do your home plan. Do your research. If you got to leave, leave. Leave the state. Do not go back home to them same people, to them same girlfriends, to them same baby mama dramas, because them situations will bring you right back here. And for my sisters, ooh, y'all know, we will click that phone to that sugar daddy in a minute. Oh, yeah. We'll call home. We'll cry. We'll tell mommy and daddy. What was the one we used to do, Dawood? I need $100 to get my tooth pulled. I need $100 to go to medical, Dad. Knowing good and well it don't cost you but $5 to go to the dinner. Well, obviously I'm a female, so I've never been to the men, so I only can speak on what I know from being in the females part. Stop acting brand new because you got some cakes and cookies. Stop acting brand new because you got a couple of Swiss rolls, because you got a little swole, because you can make a good little pizza. That is the most degrading and embarrassing thing that you can do to another person is have them begging for a box of Swiss rolls. Yeah, it is. It's trifling, especially for us, for females. See, it's not like y'all. Y'all are staying together. Y'all to let them turn that phone off. Y'all to let them turn them lights off, take them TVs and take them radios. Us, we ain't gonna do that. Oh no, we gonna snitch. We gonna say, "Boo, I got to go to my business. You got to get up off of this tier." But so back to being in Fluvanna. I learned I wasn't a real criminal. And let me tell you, I used to pride myself on being a ride or die. Unfortunately, I was back in the days where it was still Bell Meat. Okay, I don't know if some of y'all know a few people, but back in those times in the early 90s, late 90s, you was that chick when you was in Bell Mead. If you could walk through Afton, Bell Mead, Hillside, you was that chick. And I prided myself on being a ride or die. And I found out I was not one until I got into quarantine. And I obeyed the first little rules, you don't ask nobody what they here for, you don't do all of that. And I saw a mother-daughter duo. It was a mother and a daughter that was in the quarantine part with us together. And they had decided they were going to kill her boyfriend, chop him up, put him in a trunk, and go spend his money at the mall. And they found the blood leaking out the trunk. That was the day I found out I wasn't a criminal. Found out I wasn't no criminal because I ain't cutting up nobody. Second time I found out I wasn't a criminal. Very bougie chick. She's sitting to the table. She's flipping her hair. And she's constantly got this little duck lip thing going on. And she thinks she's very, very vain. And I'm asking him, like, shorty, this is a female, which men, this is for you, who decided her boyfriend loved his son too much. She killed this man's 2-year-old son, cooked him, and fed him to his father. And when he came home from work, he asked her, "Where's such and such? I haven't seen him." She said, "You eating him. You're not going to love nobody more than you love me." So, back to y'all, stop thinking you can leave your little girlfriends with your children because they don't like your baby mama. They don't like the attention. They don't like that you're happy when you're around your kids. They don't like when you do for your kids. They don't like when you say, "I'm going to pick mine up." They don't like when you actually show respect to your child's mother. That's why you got to be mindful of who you date. Found out I was a piece of shit mom when I was in prison. Sitting to the table, they finally let us out. I'm at the table at Chow, and I'm huffing, I'm puffing because my son didn't write me. So the lady that's sitting across from me, she took the bait because I'm pouting. I'm acting like I got an attitude because my kids ain't called me, or excuse me, they're not accepting my phone calls and they didn't write me. So she says, "Baby, what's wrong?" So I tell her. This woman proceeds to tell me she's been locked up for 36 years. She has 30 more to do. And when she was arrested, her son was 6, her daughter was 4, and she never saw her children again. If you ever get sentenced, God forbid, to those type of life sentences, you ain't gonna see your kids. They're gonna get adopted out. And especially for us, we have no say-so. It's bad enough y'all already don't have no say-so. But when they tell us, "We just took your kids from you," and there ain't nothing else you can do about it. Found out I was a piece of shit mom at the jail. Finally gave me a job. The warden calls a young lady to the front. She's serving 25 years to life. They call her to the front. She comes back maybe like an hour later. She's crying. Her face is pink. She's bloated. We're like, "Okay, what's wrong?" We're thinking somebody has passed away. The warden allowed her to watch her daughter graduate, valedictorian, from high school. But her speech was about her mom giving up her life for her. See, her mom walked in on her being raped by her mother's boyfriend. And mom stabbed him 106 times. And the judge said, had you had stopped at 20, I would have let you go. Had you had stopped at 30, had you had stopped at 70, but the knife broke, you went back and got another one. So I have to give you this sentence. That's why I learned that I knew more about my drug dealer kids than I know about my own. I couldn't tell you my kid's favorite color, but I could tell you my drug dealer's daughter's favorite doll baby. I could tell you what time his wife went to work. I could tell you what time they did everything in their household, but I couldn't tell you a damn thing about my own children. So I come home and I get into this fake, false, obligated relationship because this dude was holding me down when I was locked up. He was sending me money. He was doing all of that. So I felt obligated and loyal and had to be with him because he wrote me a couple of letters and put some money on my books. And in 2008, I wound up getting pregnant at 35 years old with a special needs child. And it threw us off because who was ready or prepared? You know, you finally done did your shit. You done got your life together. You clean. You don't went to work. You done did everything you had to do. And now you get dropped on your lap. You got a child that's not only autistic, but he's nonverbal too. So now I can't even beat him. I can't spank him. I can't train him. I can't discipline him. I can't do nothing. And God says exactly, because now you can't do him the way you did the other one. You got to get help. You got to go to therapy. You got to get counseling. You got to learn how to be a better person. Remain calm. Remain seated. You got to learn how to talk and communicate without elevating your voice because it'll send him over the edge. And in the midst of this, the father wants to say, that's on you. And he sort of distances himself. Not in a nasty way. He just sort of separates. And I'm left with Michael and my best friend. And this man helped me get my child into services. And now he's 15 years old, and he's thriving, and he's talking, and now he's trying to get a girlfriend. But the free didn't start, bless you, darling, when I got free in 2007. The free didn't start when I decided that I was going to leave drugs alone and I was going to get into ministry and I was going to do outreach and I was going to do peer support. The free didn't start then. The free didn't start till 2013 when I decided to get help. When I decided to lay on the sofa and deal with the real root issues of my trauma. And that's more scary than prison. But it felt good. It felt good to be able to face the things that were done to me. It felt good to be able to be held accountable for the bullcrap that I did and the part that I played. Because ladies, it ain't always them. It ain't always them. Because if you keep choosing the same person with the same characteristics, just with a different face, it's you. And before I go and before I sit down, I really want to reiterate how much the women, the daughters, the mothers, the sisters, how much we need y'all. I didn't get nervous because it was a bunch of inmates walking in here. I got nervous because it was like I finally get to tell my son, I'm sorry. I have a 32-year-old son that's on heroin now. I get to look at you and say, as fathers, I need you to come home. As a brother, I want to look at you and say, I need you to look at that dude and tell me if he's right or not. Because I'm too gung-ho, I'm too in love, my nose is too open. Only you can tell me he ain't right. As an uncle, I need you to be able to stand on the corner and say, nah, dude, you ain't going to holler at that one, not this one today. We have to stop getting fascinated with people because we talk to them for more than 12 weeks. Y'all get so caught up because a female then gave you some attention for 12 weeks, 3 months, and she don't let you hit raw. Now you in child support court. Come on, if we're going to be real, we got to keep it honest. Do you really know how valuable you are? We teach our daughters every day that this is the cookie jar. You got to value this. But who told you that you had jewels between your legs? Who's ever told you that what you got shouldn't just be dropped anywhere? Stop laying with all these different bras, man. And I call them that for a reason, because they broken. She not in love with you because you got that money. She in love with you because she looking for her daddy. She looking for somebody to raise her, and you struggling. True story. We had a little girl at work who was very into church. Her parents were pastors. And this dude, you know, sometimes young boys get their heart set on, they going to break that one, right? So he broke her. He got her out of her little church still. He took her little virginity, and guess what wound up happening? Now he was her God. She wouldn't let him go. She locked onto him, and y'all know what I'm talking about. She locked straight into him. She was sprung. She was gone. And he comes to me crying, but mama, what do I do? You made her, you her God now. You took all of her attention off of God and put all of her attention on you. You know how some dudes, we're going to get real right now. You know how some dudes feel like they the master of certain things in the bedroom? That was never intended for you to give to just anybody. Now you got some crazy chick busting out your windows, slashing your tires, calling your mama house, but he said he loved me. Now he don't want to call me no more. Showing out, filing false police reports, accusing you of all kind of stuff, all because you did something that comes naturally to you that you was never supposed to do to her in the first place. You guys are valuable, and you worth more than sitting in these seats. We need you. We need, even the CEOs, they all need you. And on top of that, them people got bad days too. Stop playing. You think they want to come in here and babysit us? Grown ass people? Heck no. They don't want to be here. But as long as we keep coming back here, they got a job. Long as we keep coming back, they got a job. And here's the craziest part about it that we never like to realize. We want to say the police in our business. Damn, shorty, find something else to do. Why you always over here? If you can't follow rules while you in here, what the hell are you going to do at home? A simple thing. Don't throw a kite. Stop trying to communicate with other inmates. Dude, mind your business, stay in your lane, go do what you got to do, and go home. You came in here by yourself, you leaving by yourself. Last week, we had one of our recovery clients. She called me bragging on fighting another roommate, causing herself to be removed from the program, and now she's facing charges. Shorty texted me, and you know how you can feel somebody's energy through a text? She was like, yeah, because I stand 10 toes down on doing my bed. Don't call me no more. Don't call me no more. Blessings and peace unto you, because that means you don't mind going back to jail. And let me tell you something. As a female, to stand and have to squat and cough and hand somebody your tampon, yeah, that's what we got to go through. When we got to squat and cough, we got to hand these women our maxi pads and our tampons. So do you really think I want to continue to do that? No, ma'am. You can go ahead and do that by yourself. Another good thing about being free, they lie to y'all. They make you think that it's all about the house, the car. They set you up. You know, oh, man, if you just come home, you get your license, you get your car, you can do this, you can do that. Nah. The best part about being free is peace. Peace. When you can turn that doorknob for yourself and walk out at sunrise, that's peace. When was the last time you listened to the birds chirp or the birds was chirping and you weren't coming home from the club? or you won't coming home from working a lick or doing something else you ain't had no business doing. I love hearing the birds chirp and I'm on my way to work or taking my grandchildren to school or sitting on the ocean. That's peace. That's joy. And I got a gift. I got a hell of a gift when I came home, y'all. I found out once I got rid of all of that trauma and that ugliness that was in me, I got the power of a smile. I got the power to look at another woman and smile at her and make her day. Because, as women, we can be catty. We'll stand there and grit on another chicken. What you looking at? But now I got the power to make another woman's day. And I actually got the power to make a man feel important without flirting with him. I could look at a brother and say, damn, boy, you look good today, and I hope your wife at home getting ready for you. I can look at another man and say, I know you worked hard today. And ain't no flirtation in it. That man is my brother. And that's another thing that we cheat ourselves out of is true friendship between each other, between a man and a female. How we supposed to know how we supposed to be treated if y'all don't show us how we supposed to be treated? If all we get from y'all is, damn, mom, you fat than a motherfucker. True story. That's how I found out it was me and not them. When I got released from prison, I went to upstate New York. And if anybody's from New York, that's a cold-ass place. And at that time, coming from making 21 cents an hour, making $12 an hour was seeming pretty good. But I was working at a makeup factory. And at this particular day, the vats had blew up. And I had eyeshadow and makeup and all this stuff stuck in my hair. But when I got there, it was odd because, I'm used to doing what I do. And this is how I was walking through the town. I'm doing all of that, but nobody heard that. Somebody said, damn, all right. But nobody was doing that. No man was paying me no attention in this town. So I asked my mother. My mother just as crazy as me. Mom, what's up with these men? Why they ain't paying no attention? Girl, they did. They all gay. Don't worry about it. They all gay. I'm like, okay, I'll take that. That makes sense. You cannot look at not all this and not turn around. You must be gay, right? So I'm at work. The vat blows up. I'm pissed off. It's cold. The wind is coming. It's cutting me in my face. And in the distance, I hear, psst, psst. Yo, ma. Damn, boo. The fuck? Come here. I turn around, and it's this freaking dude that's like damn near 7 feet tall. His beard is from here. He nodding, and you can see the snot and the food in his beard. But the scary part was, I turned, and I was getting ready to step off the curb. And I said, what the fuck are you doing? The one person that actually paid you some attention, the one person that actually gave you what you was looking for is a fucking junkie, and he's standing across the street and you about to walk over there. I ran home, got on my knees, and I said, God, whatever is in me that is attracting that, I need you to take it from me. And I've never had that problem since. It's a hell of a thing when you face yourself, male or female. It's scary when you really have to do self-inventory on your faults, what parts you played in it. But I hope I get the opportunity to come again. I'm going to wrap it up because we are going over time. So thank y'all.
Hey, you got me, Steve? You got me? Yeah. So now y'all know why I taped the shoes up. Y'all know why I taped the shoes up, because I didn't want to miss that. You know what I'm saying? We ran over. We don't have time for question and answers. I just wanted to drop this on you. When shit hits the fan, please get out front of the goddamn fan. Get out front of the fan. And for God's sake, don't throw nothing in the fan while you're standing in front of it. All right? Glad y'all here. Let's give our speakers a hand. They'll be back. We just hope y'all be gone.